Welcome back. It's great to have you with us on The Full View. Now, a focus on local news. We've been focusing on the situation in the Middle East, and let's look at the courts. Another defeat for former President Jacob Zuma. The Supreme Court of Appeals dismissing his bid to challenge the enforcement of the ruling, invalidating his private prosecution of advocate Billy Downer and journalist Karyn Maugham. Let's get some analysis. We're joined by legal analyst Mpumelelo Zikalala. Mpumelelo, thank you for being with us. So the SCA said his case against Downer and Maugham had no foundation, and in its judgment it brings up the allegation of him essentially trying to delay the arms deal corruption case. Is this a very scathing judgment against the former president?
Well, good afternoon to and also to viewers. I would say it depends on which way you are looking at it. From the side of which it is against the former president, yes, you could call it that. You could say the court has taken a perception of saying that whatever that you are engaging in, it's a stolen grant activities. You are trying to delay the enforcement or the day in court in which you then have to quote answer based on the arms deal. But on the other side, I think the former president and his team will come back and say, but we all have the right tool to explore all the legal avenues that are there and to deal with whatever issues that you might have. It must be dependent, it must be noted in this case that what started this particular matter was an allegation of saying that you have a prosecutor who has allegedly engaged in activities which are unbecoming of a prosecutor, have contravened the NPA Act, and hence must be investigated whether it has been done properly or not. And it wouldn't be in this particular case, or in this particular instance, if the criminal court would have taken over the matter and dealt with it. But it seems as if our courts have come back to the stance of that we are going to deal with it in this particular manner, and it's a criminal case which is going to be dealt with within the civil context, and we are going to deal with it just because we are the court. And what you must also remember is that this particular part of the judgment which was issued today only dealt with the immediate execution of that particular order which was issued. So there's still an appeal which is going to take place at a later stage. That would have been decided by the But most important, there's another application that is going to be brought, or that will be brought by the president. What it needs for me, but in my perspective, this matter may need to go to the Constitutional Court for final determination, because taking up both the legal arm, you need to make sure that you're able to come back to a conclusion and say, in instances such where you want the judgment not to be applied immediately, where you have automatically applied, your automatic appeal has taken place, what are the things in which the court needs to look at in order to come to the final determination? So removing who the litigants are, please tell us, because the judgment which is issued by the SCA and also by the Concord has a bearing on all the provincial divisions which are there. So we need finality into that.
Mpumelelo, you are clear now, but you were cutting earlier. So let me just clarify. You're saying that right now the main arms deal case cannot go ahead. There are still legal processes that have to play out before that. Is that correct?
I would say yes. It can't go ahead up until the cause of concern of the former president or one of the litigants, which is the former president, has been attended to. Because his stance is saying that, yes, I want to be prosecuted. Yes, I want my day in court, but I want it to be in a fair and a platform in which is going to be able to accommodate it and which is going to protect my rights. So if there are legal avenues available to me, and that's the former president stating that, in which I want to make sure that the person who's prosecuting me is the person that ought to prosecute me despite the fact that there are certain allegations against him, let me ventilate and make sure that I'm able to deal with that up until the end. And then after that has been done and dusted, then we can come back and deal with the arms deal. Hence the various spheres of our courts that we can go to, like the SCA and Constitutional Court, before this matter is dealt with. But it does not say that if a person is engaging in any other activities and wanting to dispute the fairness or whether the person who is going to prosecute them has the absolute right to do that, is then engaging in stolen grant activities.
Talking about the Stalingrad activities, I mean, if some judges believe that the courts are being used, that essentially justice is being delayed because a litigant is using each and every legal avenue they have, whether they believe they'll win or not, so it could be cynically just using the processes to cause a delay. If the courts believe that, is there not any action they could take?
There is a way, but the most appropriate way is to listen to the person and then make a ruling or issue out a judgment at the end of the day. Maybe let's understand it in this particular platform in this manner. Every legal avenue and legal principle that is there that can be utilized was created for a particular reason, particular purpose. Now, it's up to the litigant who then engages on it to say, I want to make sure that I'm using this particular legal avenue so that my rights can be protected. That's what is important. So it can't be said that when it comes to certain litigants, they shouldn't use certain legal avenues which are available to them, because it's the views of the public and maybe of even the judges to say that don't engage in this legal avenue, go have your day in court. The same argument could be held with the other litigants, for example, Advocate Billy Down and Ms. Karyn Maugham, in terms of saying, why didn't you go through the normal criminal process route instead of going through the civil route? Why didn't you allow the criminal court in order to deal with this particular man? It would have been a court in any ways, it would have been a judge in any ways, and all the things that which you are crying about or in with it that they are cause for concern now could have been well ventilated between the particular forum. But they have chosen to go the civil route, which is an avenue available to them. So it could be said, if you want to look at it in another brand or another perspective, that they even have engaged in stolen grant activities pertaining to that. But it is accessibility to these courts and the courts coming to this type of conclusion, which is important for us as members of the public, and also legal practitioners, and also determining what is the right course of action that needs to be followed when one needs to protect their rights, what is the right course of action that needs to be followed when one needs to promote their legal interests. So I want to say, my rights have been infringed, I need justice to be observed in this manner. So yes, the courts can issue out the judgments in which they have done so, but if a legal avenue it is there, it then means the legal avenue was supposed to be used or ought to be used or utilized by individuals in order for them to receive justice.
Sure enough. Thank you, as always, Mpumelelo Zikalala, legal analyst.